Oh, I saw Merida there. Hello, Merida. I see just a little slice of you.
Yeah, that's it. That's me.
And there's Raina Rooney. I don't see your face, Raina. Oh, hello.
Hi.
It's nice to see faces. I like to see everybody. And I don't know if anybody's met Yolanda before. I met her because she came out and visited me, but she lives in Anchorage. And anyway, nice to have you join us tonight, Yolanda.
Yep. I was going to come before Thanksgiving, but I zoned it out. But anyway, just wanted to meet everybody because I'm on this Plant Pure. I'm going to start a Plant Pure pod here in Anchorage, and I'm just getting some added help from Plant Pure Nations and Cornell University. So hopefully we'll get something going, working with you all as well. See, brainstorming how we could get plant foods into our population. But anyway, thank you for having this.
Sure. Well, we do this every month. So the next one will be right after Christmas, and we're going to have kind of a little party with some games and everything. So be sure to put that on your calendar. I think it's the day after.
Yeah, I think it's the day after.
I think it's the day after Christmas. So we'll give us something to look forward to. So before we go into our program where Rachel and Mike are going to share about their progress and what's happening at their animal sanctuary, let's just have time for people to share what happened for you on Thanksgiving. What did you end up because we had a discussion about this at our last get together. So who wants to talk about what did you end up doing and what did you make and how did it turn out for you?
Well, we weren't here last month, but I can go first. We're off of cooking these days. We're sort of into junk food, vegan pandemic eating. And what we did though was order a vegetarian Thanksgiving dinner for two from the Middleway Cafe. Oh. And so we went in and picked it up the day before and came home, and they had gone to all sorts of trouble making different delicious dishes that were packaged up nicely. And we put everything in the oven, took it out, and we had over 3 meals of it so far. So it was fun. And
great.
It was a good alternative for us because we hadn't been eating that well lately. So it was good for us.
Well, that's good that you were able to do that. And let's have everybody mute until it's your turn to talk so that we just don't have a lot of background sounds. Hey, Kristen.
I did the same thing. I'm getting ready to go into finals for university, so I thought it would be a lot easier if I ordered some food, and I ordered from Middleway as well. I ordered the vegan meal for 2, and I swear it's for 6.
Yes.
But I did make a pumpkin cheesecake, and it turned out fabulous. I'm really happy with it. So
tell us how you made the cheesecake.
Let me grab the recipe that I used.
Sounds pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
I used Veg News. Puts out some great recipes for, they're not exactly 100% whole food plant-based, but they do some great meal planning for holiday events. So they had this one, I don't know, 3 years ago that has really fun things like carrot wrapped dates, and they season them like they're bacon, the carrots, and it's fabulous. It's tricked many people in my house that have come over to eat with me. But I made their cheesecake, the pumpkin cheesecake that they have in here, and I did the same recipe, but so they use silken tofu and soy yogurt, some maple syrup, a little bit of sugar, arrowroot, vanilla, and salt in the actual cheesecake.
Huh.
And they also put in lemon, but I held out the lemon and used a full can of pumpkin, already pureed pumpkin, and a teaspoon and a half of pumpkin spice. I think I could have amped the pumpkin spice up a little bit more, but it because I added more quantity, it just needed to cook a little bit longer, and it came out great. I really am very happy with it.
Well, great. So
So
it
I'm
was,
not sharing it.
it was all, you didn't have a layer of cheesecake and then a layer of pumpkin. It was all mixed together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you'd like, I can pull it out of the refrigerator and show you what it looks like.
Sure. Let's
Okay.
see what it looks like.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, I was going to make a pumpkin pie with the recipe in my cookbook, but it turned out that I didn't have any pumpkin, but that was okay with me. So because I have lots of yams, and so I made it with yams instead of pumpkin. And instead of 10 dates to sweeten it, I only used 5 dates because yams are a lot sweeter than pumpkin. And then I put some pecans on the top, just kind of decoratively, not a whole bunch of them. And it was really good. That is how I want to make it from now on. It was delish. And so if you decide to do it, you can just follow that same recipe that's in my cookbook, but just swap out the pumpkin and for yams and cut the dates in half, and then it's perfect. Okay, Kristen is back. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, look at that. Wow. It's very fluffy looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out fantastic. Really. So
Wow.
you blend everything in the Vitamix, and it just
What kind of
Yeah.
crust did you put on it?
vegan graham crackers, so no honey in them, and it used some Yoko's butter to hold it together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
Okay, who else wants to? Let's see.
I will go next.
Okay.
I made a traditional Thanksgiving dinner. I used the tofu, the holiday roast with tofu and stuffing and yams casserole. And I'm perfecting my sourdough bread skills, and I made some sourdough bread. And I made an apple pie this year. So I didn't make a pumpkin pie. So that's kind of non-traditional. But had gravy, and I guess that was it. That was enough. That was pretty filling. So yeah, it turned out really good. I've been eating it for the last 2 days. So
And so did you make a smaller version of the toast?
I did not. I did not, because I wanted to eat it after Thanksgiving. So I made a smaller colander with had 4 blocks in it, and I didn't stuff it. I just had it, no stuffing in it. I left it just whole, and I think I like it that way. I think the stuffing in there is just kind of for looks, because there's not enough stuffing to go around. So I felt like I could cut it and then add stuffing on the side, and then it would be fine. And then put gravy on that, and it worked out great. So it was just Bill and I. We just didn't have family this Thanksgiving, which was kind of sad, but there'll be more Thanksgivings, there'll be more Christmases. And so we just wanted to stay safe. So.
Well, I did something similar, except I, instead of 4 blocks of tofu, I only used 2, since there's just the 2 of us. And I didn't, because 2 blocks of tofu doesn't make a very high loaf. So I did the usual thing. I pressed it and all that, but it was only about this high. And then I did the stuffing separately, but it worked fine and it was really easy to do. I do like stuffing in it when, if I made another big one, or when I make another big one, I will stuff it. But it worked fine and it was really easy to do.
Yeah, it worked out well without the stuffing. There was no problem.
Yeah,
But one of the
sure.
blessings that I had is that we have a renter in our B&B, and so I don't know what her dietary habits are, but I sent her a message. I said, I'd love to share a Thanksgiving dinner with you. I'd like to bring over you a plate, but I just want to warn you, I eat a plant-based diet, so it's all plant-based. And she said, fine. So I brought her over that. Oh, I forgot I had a salad, a big salad. So I brought her over a dinner. So it was just kind of nice to share, you know, with somebody. So I think she enjoyed it.
Great. Well,
Oh,
thanks.
and I did bring her dog some carrots. So he could have some Thanksgiving too. So
Great. Okay, anybody else want to tell us what you did?
I guess I can go next. Before dinner, around 2 o'clock, we had an extended family Zoom, so there were about 11 of us spread out over 3 states. So that was really nice, because as far as the dinner, I just spent the day, it was just Kenai and me, which was nice. And what I fixed was lentil loaf. I think I gave you that recipe to Lisa.
Uh-huh.
And then I did mashed potatoes kind of along the lines of your cookbook, doing them that way. And then some mustard agave glazed Brussels sprouts, which is just one of my favorite recipes. And then I did something, my mom had a down south stuffing, which of course you can tell is not vegan. I mean, it had things like butter and eggs and link sausage in it. So I veganized it, eliminated all oil and butter, and it all turned out pretty well.
Wow, well, great. And you have some left over, right?
Oh yes, yep, I will have several more meals out of that.
Great. Great. Thank you. Anybody else?
Well, we didn't really have our Thanksgiving yet, but I could tell you about what we're going to do.
Okay.
So we live on the, you know, the sanctuary, and my sister and her husband live in like a little accessory dwelling unit next door. So we're like one household. We treat each other like one household, and Rich, her husband, is a pilot, so he's actually out flying right now, and was gone for Thanksgiving. So we're going to be doing it tomorrow, and we're doing a vegan keto Thanksgiving. So it'll be interesting. We have a couple recipes pulled up, and we're gonna try something new. So
Wow. Well, I'd be curious to know what that's gonna.
yeah, I'm a little skeptical about it, but you know, we'll see. I'm keeping an open mind.
Okay, well, good luck.
Thanks.
Yolanda?
Well, I love cooking, so my spouse and I were alone, and what I did is I go to the Blue Market to get some of my the carrots. Think they're from the Valley, best tasting carrots, potatoes. I went to Natural Pantry on Wednesday because that's when their produce gets there, and they had best looking kale, Swiss chard, pumpkins, and so what I made is a roasted pumpkin and squash, roasted a bunch of some Valley beets and rutabagas, and some green, some other peppers. So I roasted all those, and then I made a reduction sauce with balsamic vinegar and wild blueberries that I had, and reduction sauce, and then I put some hazelnuts in there. So I laid the roasted vegetables on top of that with the reduction sauce on top. the squash, I made a wild rice from Minnesota, which Kate's from Minnesota. So we had wild rice from Minnesota, brown rice, and I sauteed some onions and stuff to make the stuffing. Had some breadcrumbs. So I stuffed the squash, put some hazelnuts on top for that. And then we had cauliflower and potato mash. We did use some vegan butter. I try to use less of that stuff if as possible, but we put that in there. And then we made a mushroom onion gravy to put on everything. And I made a cranberry sauce it was an orange cranberry sauce. That was lovely. And had that and a little kombucha to drink. And we had a feast. It was, it took us, we started cooking around, 3 o'clock and, we were done by 6:30. It was, it was easy peasy. But I do try to use as little of processed stuff as possible. I didn't use any salt, use a lot of pepper and things like that on my foods. I did use some tamari in the, in something, what was it? In the gravy, which was with Kim Campbell. She has a cookbook that is lovely. If you guys ever, it's Plant Pure Nation. They have a lovely cookbook. I haven't seen Delisa's cookbook, but I'm gonna have to maybe purchase that. But anyway, so that's what we ate, and we have leftovers for a few days. Thank you.
Okay, well, good. Well, that brings
Oh,
me
one more thing. I'm sorry. Then for dessert, I had a banana almond butter cocoa brownies with, I threw a bunch of roasted anyway, it was brownies, and it was very good. I put some ground up flaxseed in there, and I baked it for about 20 minutes. And it was no sugar in there. I think the sweetness was the bananas that I had put in there, about four bananas, and it was very lovely. Thank you.
Great.
Sorry.
Okay, well, that makes me remember that I was going to tell you that my cookbook is now up on Amazon as a Kindle book. So you can get it on Kindle if you want to, rather than just the paper version. If you want the paper version, then you can either order it from my website, yes2lifesolution.com, or they also sell it at Natural Pantry. But I've had some people tell me that they wanted to have the Kindle version, even though they already have the paper version, because every time they go to the grocery store, they can't remember what's in the recipe, and they can't remember what they need to buy and all that kind of thing. So anyway, I know some people wanted to have the Kindle version as well, but that's another way that you can share with other people, is to let them know, because the Kindle version is only $9.99. So anyway, okay, so who else wants to go? Tony.
Hi. Well, hello, everyone. Happy belated Thanksgiving to all of you. This would have been our 18th year at the Thanksgiving feast. So when my husband heard that, of course, we would not be joining together, he says, oh, well, then what are we going to have? Going to have traditional, kind of put me on the spot. So I started early and baked pumpkin pie. And we had, let's see, stuffing and gravy and yams and mashed potatoes and green bean casserole, cranberry sauce. I started a week before. Anyway, and it was just delightful, just the two of us. And we also had a Zoom call with some family and chatted. And then the following day, Friday, we played categories online with family, and that was a lot of fun. It's just amazing what you can do when you have to be innovative.
Right.
And I miss so much gathering with everyone, but it was still very memorable. This will be the one to go down in the history books, of course. And I'm wondering, Delisa, when you wanted me to read June's poem.
Well, how about right now?
Okay, and I can take no credit whatsoever for this absolutely beautifully written poem by June Perdassi. She's a longtime AVS member that lives in Anchorage. And I asked her and she said, oh, of course. She says, I wrote that for AVS. You don't have to ask my permission. So all the credit going to June Perdassi. And it is titled Thanksgiving Still Came. It came without turkey. It came without ham. It came without roast beef. It came without spam. It came without chicken, duckling, or goose. It came without deer, elk, caribou, or moose. It came without partridge. It came without quail. It came without sausages sent through the mail. It came without pork. It came without veal. It came without salmon, shrimp, crab, or eel. It came without milk and it came without eggs. It came without snails or little frogs' legs. It came without bacon and it came without steak. It came without pate or meatloaf to bake. And after we'd all eaten as much as we could, we all joined hands as round the table we stood. And the feelings we got were so free and so warm. Thanksgiving still came and not a creature was harmed. Yes, Thanksgiving still came and it was so great, as only plant-based foods had filled up our plates. Not an animal was used in preparing our feast, neither a fish nor a fowl, nor even a beast.
Thank you, Tony.
It didn't-
And thank
Oh,
you,
you're welcome.
June. I know, I think she wrote that, oh, I don't know if it's been 10 years, maybe. It's been quite a while.
Quite a while. It never loses its beauty, its impact on me. I just love it.
Right, yeah, and that's something that we have been sharing and reading or hearing every Thanksgiving for many years, so that's great. Helps to keep the spirit going here. Well, did anybody else want to share? We still have some people. Mary?
So I didn't need much, but I've been exploring the wonderful world of squash. So I've been getting food mostly from the Fairbanks Co-op, and they have a lot of unusual things. And I don't know if people are familiar with turban squash. So they can be very big. They can be up to 6 or 8 pounds, and they're very colorful. And they actually look like an acorn. Kind of, they have a top hat on them, very brilliant orange bottom and cream colored and green and knobby and strange looking. And so I got one of those, and I got also some other honey nut squash and the yellow and green striped squash. So basically I really only needed one, and I just am doing a succession of squashes over the days. And so I wanted to overcome how you cut these hard squashes and how you use them. So I just cut it off like a top hat, which was very easy. And then you just took the seeds out and you roasted it, and it needed to be soft, and then it was stuffed. So usually for stuffing, I would use quinoa and something like pomegranate seeds. That's more festive. That's for some other ones closer to Christmas. But this time it did have a bread stuffing with celery and Macintosh apples and cranberries and a lot of herbs. And let's see, what else did I have in there? I had fresh herbs and with seasoning, like a broth, and it was wet and then it baked again. And it was absolutely beautiful. It was delicious. But the very best thing about it were the seeds, because I also baked those, and they were nutty and toasty, tasty. And I love the seeds a lot. The dog even ate some, and the dog ate some squash. I didn't put any onion in so the dog could eat some, but the squash is absolutely wonderful. So some of those bigger, harder gourd-like ones can be not as flavorful and tasty as like the very orange the orange fleshed ones like acorn squash. But You've seen these weird looking things out there, haven't you? They're also very tasty and very, very lovely stuffed. So
Great. Well, it sounds like you've been having fun and that you'll be able to continue as long as the squash keep coming.
yes.
That's great. Thank you. So I don't think we've heard from Merida or Jerry. If either one of you want to share.
Sure, I'll share. Well, there was just the two of us. We had great plans, but they kind of fizzled when the people's house that we were going to decided that they didn't want to have company coming. So, you know, we agreed with that decision. We'd already made the decision in advance that we weren't going to go after all, that we felt like it'd be best to stay home. So I just cooked a lentil loaf. We had mashed potatoes and gravy and yams, and I made your recipe for the cranberry sauce, the whole cranberries and an orange and an apple and the cup of grapes. That was all that was in it, and I love it. It's just really good. And it's even with most of the orange peeling on, I don't think it's too tart. You know, it's just for us, we like it. And then we had fresh green beans and stuffing. I made I made the stuffing recipe from the inside of the tofu roast. I mean, the one that you usually make. I just made that, and I asked my husband if he wanted me to make him rolls, and he said no, that's okay. So we didn't have any rolls, but then we had pumpkin pie that I made, just your pumpkin pie recipe, and it turned out great. I'll have to tell you something funny though. When the loaf usually sets up really nice, so you can let it set for a little bit out of the oven, and then you can slice it. And when I went to slice it, it just fell apart. And I thought, I mean, it seemed kind of, even though I'd been in the oven the right amount of time, it seemed overly moist. And I thought, what, but I got distracted because we had a Zoom call with a daughter and her husband, and we had grandkids that were texting me. And then we had a FaceTime with our son and daughter and granddaughter. So I don't like to cook when I've got people that are hovering around me anymore, because I forget where I'm at. So anyway, I think I couldn't figure out what happened to the recipe. So the next day I was just going through the recipe, because a lot of times if I change anything on them, I'll make a little comment so that I know what I did, the next year when I want to do it. And anyway, I realized that I had left out the rolled oats. A very important part of the recipe. And we didn't eat Thanksgiving dinner again last night, but we did have it tonight. So I just dumped whatever was left in my pan back into a bowl and added the oats and mixed them in and put them back in the pan and baked it for 45 minutes. And it didn't come out. It didn't really set. We just pulled it out of the oven and started eating some, but so it didn't really set up. But I don't know if after it sits in the fridge, if it's going to adhere to, the pieces of the ingredients better than what it is now. But anyway, it's just a little side note that I never told Frank, what I did, but he probably thought this did look a little different, because we love it for meatloaf sandwiches. You just slice it and put it on between bread, 2 slices of bread with whatever you want to add to it. And anyway, so that was kind of funny, but anyway, dinner was great. We enjoyed it, except for nobody to talk to at the table but us.
Right.
And nobody called right during dinner, so we weren't interrupted.
That's good. Great. So Jerry, did you want to tell us what you did?
Yeah, well, I didn't want to go shopping, so I tried to think of what I had in my house that I could make that didn't require going out. So I did remember your cookbook, and I looked in there because I like most of your recipes, probably all of them. They're good. And I know I really like the Moroccan black bean supreme, so I made that. That's what I did, and I had all the ingredients. And I was going to make cranberry, some sort of cranberry dish, and I I was on the phone, I was on the text, I was busy with people, and it just didn't work out. And I was going to make a pumpkin pie, and I never got to that either. And I do like the yam pies too, as you do. They're delicious, as compared to the pumpkin. They're just as good, if not better. So I agree with you. But yeah, I finally got some cans of pumpkin at the last grocery time, because I pick up my groceries. I don't go into the store. And anyway, so I will make, and I have yams left over too, so I can make either or. But I had a taste for some dessert, and I'm at my high weight. I just started exercising again because I have a treadmill, and I'm trying to get back into some sort of exercise. So I didn't want anything really fattening, you know what I mean? I just didn't want bread or anything like that. And my bread machine broke actually, so I don't have a bread machine like I had. I used to make my own bread. Now I don't, and I don't like store-bought bread as a rule, so I didn't have that. It was a simple, very simple dinner, but it was fine for me because it has a salad in there, and it has the beans and the yams and the spices that I like. So I enjoyed it, and I didn't have to please anyone. Nobody was here, so it was easy. I'm getting very spoiled by not not having anyone over for lunch or dinner, and that's okay because it's been a nice break for just doing what I want to do and eat when I want to eat, and shop when I want to shop. So yeah. And I just find that shopping doesn't intrigue me, because I'm too afraid to go to the stores. And I don't even like it when they put it in my trunk. So I try to just buy a bunch of food at one time and then keep it for, a month or so and then go back again. So that's kind of where I was at for Thanksgiving. But it worked, and I had nice times with people, which was good. So I did that too.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like everybody had a pretty good time. And Elsa, I wanted to welcome you. I can't see your face, but hello. Is there anything that you would like to share with us? If you unmute yourself, then you could talk to us.
It looks like she messaged everyone, so
Yeah.
I'm guessing she can't unmute
Maybe yeah.
or something.
Hey, I wanted to ask everybody, have you been familiar with Japanese sweet potatoes? Have you ever had those? They're called Japanese sweet potatoes.
Are they red? They're kind of red.
Yes, they are kind of red.
Yeah.
They're, sweet potatoes are kind of green, yams are red. These Japanese sweet potatoes are really dark purple, and they are like eating candy. It is, if you see some, pick up one. I just got 2 small ones so I can just bake them, but they are really delicious. Just FYI.
So where did you get them?
Well, you can get them at the Natural Pantry. I got them actually at the Red Market. Red something market in Muldoon, actually.
Oh, the red.
I was in there to look for some yuca. I'm trying to make this Cuban dish, and it called for yuca. So I've never had yuca or even knew what it looked like. And I went in there because they have a lot of more different nationality foods in there, and I did find it. So I did see some some Japanese sweet potatoes there, and I got them there. The Natural Pantry, they're pretty expensive. There they were a little bit over $2 a pound, and so it wasn't too bad. But anyway, just FYI.
Okay, well, thank you.
Sometimes you can find them at Fred Meyer. I've seen them there once in a while.
I think I've eaten them. Yeah, they are good.
They're very
Well,
good.
there's just so many wonderful plant foods to eat, and we're so fortunate to be able to get them all the way up here in Alaska. So Elsa said she lives in Florida and she's a new vegan. So, but she's not able to unmute for some reason. So anyway, Oh, sister. So anyway, I think we're going to turn this over now to Rachel and Mike, and they're going to tell us what's going on with their Forget-Me-Not sanctuary and share the screen when they want to, and so on. So,
Yeah. So gosh, I can't remember what we last shared with you guys, where we were. It was a year ago,
More
about
than that,
a little
I
more
think.
than a year ago.
yeah, I think it was more. You hadn't moved yet.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's at least a year and a
Did
half.
do you remember, did we have the pigs at that point?
I don't
Don't remember.
remember, but I don't think so.
Okay.
I think, no, I think we had the pigs. I remember some
Oh, okay.
pictures on the screen.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it must have been right around.
Maybe early, just
Yeah.
right
mhm.
after we got them.
Yeah, so we moved. We went from our 1 acre lot in Anchorage and finally made it out here, which we're on. Well, right now the sanctuary is on like about 5 acres.
Yeah.
And there are more acres, like we have more land that we could expand to potentially. Yeah, so we're in a much better position where we are now, and we have expanded all of our areas.
Most of what we have to share are just like some fun videos, really. But speaking of the expansion, I'm going to let's see, since it's just a picture, I'm going to share this picture of the chicken area.
Our newest, yeah, this is in the
This
summertime.
is, yeah, after we were done. So there's 3 separate areas. So you can see the main coop on the right-hand
Is
side.
that
just the
showing
edge
up
of
on
it.
your guys' screen?
Can everyone see that?
No, we don't.
Nope.
We don't see it.
Okay.
There, now we do.
I think
Okay,
it's
so
just
it's
it's delayed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you make it bigger? Yeah. Okay, that's better.
Yeah, so this is our chicken and turkey areas. There's that back coop, which has that back section farthest away has our that's like for more of the differently abled animals. So right now that is just 2 hens that live back there. But one of them she only has 1 leg. And then there's the rooster section, which is where that red chicken coop is. And then there's the main section, which is most of the picture, but it's got a nice area with a lot of bushes and interest pieces for the animals to scratch around in. And
I'm not sure how the resolution is on your screens, but there's that, if you can tell, that net that covers the whole area. So that's like our eagle predator protection.
Oh, yeah, I see that now.
which is very important because we see, well, first of all, there's hawks and eagles that fly by all the time.
Yeah, we are in Eagle River now. So.
Yeah, Eagle River. So, and then also an unexpected benefit to that netting was we had a lynx actually jump up on top of the net, like completely jumped over the 7-foot fence and landed on top of the net and tried to get into the chicken house and like the chicken yard.
Wow.
So the net protected them from a lynx too. So
Wow.
It must be really held up well to not have fallen through with the lynx, because
yeah, and we
Yeah.
take predator proofing very seriously, especially out here. Over the summer, we saw, we were seeing like a bear a week kind of thing. It was
wow.
a lot. And so we have electric fencing. And do we have that video of the?
I don't think so. You could try airdrop it if you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, we may have a video we could share of how we did all the predator proofing. Let me see. We could have just a fun pig video in the meantime. So we were picking up rocks in the pig area, and they decided this bucket was their toy. And so they just started playing with this bucket for fun, which is kind of cute. And I'm not sure, it might be a laggy for some people depending on the internet connection, but I'll let it play for a bit.
What you guys talking about? You guys are silly.
Like those things are getting a lot bigger. I saw those videos when they were babies.
How's that doing?
Yeah, they continue to grow.
Good.
Yep.
I think most of them are kind of getting close to full size now.
Yeah.
Like in this
So,
video.
for those of you who don't know, these pigs came from a local meat farm. They were basically surplus pigs, and so they were like between 2 months to a year old when we got them. And I mean, some of them were like, I don't know, that big, probably. And they were just basically going to be killed because they couldn't sell them for meat because they had made too many, basically. So so
Where
they
do you
ended
get
up with us.
Where do you get the food to feed them?
So they eat a lot of hay. So mostly we give them like free range of hay, and then they get a little bit of like a grain mixture twice a day, and that we get the hay mostly from MBRD in Anchorage, and then the grain mixture comes from what is the place called? The Pet Zoo in Palmer.
Yeah, it's called a animal food warehouse. I think they're
yeah.
connected to Pet Zoo somehow, but
Yeah.
they go by Animal Food Warehouse, and it's in Palmer.
Yeah, they're the only place that carries the pig food that we like to use, because at the beginning of this, people were talking about the like eye goop that your dogs sometimes get. So pigs get that too. It's called pig rust. And it happens when they're on a low quality food. And so, or just a food that doesn't work with them specifically. And so that's why we make a special trip out to Palmer to get their food, because it's the only place that carries the stuff that we use that prevents them from getting pig rust, which.
What about grocery stores? Do they ever give you like their produce that they throw away, or?
You know, we have asked before, and we're told that they are not legally allowed to anymore. Like they used to do that, but like they used to be able to give some of the old food away, but they're not allowed to anymore.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know
I
what?
don't know, for liability reasons or what.
I checked with them too, just to see if I could get some for my compost and feed them to my worms. And I checked with Three Bears, thinking that they might be more likely than, you know, a big corporate thing like Kroger, but nobody is doing it now, and they're very definitely not doing it. And it's so wasteful. It's just going to the show.
Yes.
We have animals to feed, and we have compost to feed, and worms to feed. And so, yeah, that's too bad.
How,
Yolanda,
how do
did
you,
you?
how do you afford feeding them? Where do you get your support, your financial support?
We have some wonderful monthly donors and regular donors, and we've applied for some grants and received a grant from the Micro Sanctuary Resource Center. So we have different, mostly it's from our monthly donors, really. That's like where that's how we operate. Without them.
Can you tell everybody how they can become a monthly donor?
Yeah, so basically through our website, we have,
Do you want to type it in the chat?
yeah, we can type it in the chat.
So it's just forgetmenotfs.com. So I'm sending.
Oh, you sent
sorry.
it privately.
I just sent that to Peggy. All right.
Oops.
Let me try that again. Okay, now I think
So
everyone's up.
that's the website, and we have you can either sponsor like an individual animal by going to Our Residents tab, and then under Our Residents you can select like the different species, so chickens, turkeys, pigs, rabbits, and then select an animal that you want to sponsor that way. Or you can just donate through our like regular donate button, and then you get to choose the amount and all of that. So
Yeah, Yolanda, I see your hand's been up for a bit.
yeah.
Yeah, well, have you guys heard of it's called Seeds of Change? It's a hydroponic growing operation for usually it's mixed greens, a bunch of herbs, and whether, I mean, I think they harvest, weekly, and they're anyway, they have a lot of compost. They have because they're selling this food to grocery stores and restaurants. Well, not as much restaurants, but they're sending this fresh produce out someplace. So I used to volunteer there. It's a youth program through the Mental Health Trust, but they have so much compost that they can't, so whether you want to connect with them might be something to do there. I mean, I think there's somebody from, I guess she's from Eagle River. She used to come and pick up a whole trash bag full of this produce that has maybe specks on it or not, so they throw their waste a lot. In my opinion, but they don't want to sell something that's has a little brown spot or whatever.
Right.
And I think pigs might eat whatever, right? You guys, they eat anything.
Yeah, they don't mind if it's got a little.
Yeah, that's actually something we have to be careful with, because sometimes there are some pigs that are very picky about what they eat, and so they're not as much of a concern. But I do know some pigs will eat things that are actually poisonous to themselves, and so you have to be careful about what's on your property. But
yeah, definitely, like any produce. Like we have a garden we did this summer.
We did a garden, and we fed most of that to the animals. So
they're not.
Well, yeah, those chickens. Those chickens just love that stuff. I have a friend that has about 15 chickens, so I used to bring a whole bag full, and her husband would pull out the basil that here they were tossing it away, but he'd pull out the basil and some of the better looking lettuce before he gave it to the chicken. So I mean, I think it would be a good place for you guys to get some free stuff, because again, they don't have, their compost is only full. So in fact, I could maybe connect with you guys, that I could maybe go there, volunteer, get a couple of trash bags and bring it out to you.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
So just give me your contact information. That'd be great.
Yeah, we'll do that.
You want to type stuff in the
yeah,
chat,
sure. We'll get that to you in a sec. I just wanted to get another video going here. Speaking of chickens.
Yeah, speaking of chickens.
Let's see. We had some chickens jumping here.
This is a little behind the scenes. I don't think we posted this to our social media account at all. So special preview here.
I did it earlier.
Do it again. Do it again.
What? She's being a rooster.
Yeah. What a
Get it?
cutie. Sam has always been our very food motivated girl. She will jump, 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 sugar lump. She was the one I was sitting eating noodles outside.
Oh, really?
And they were all milling around by my feet. And she's the one that that jumped up onto my lap to try and get the noodles.
Can I try that sugar?
Hey, honey.
Oh, yeah. So just bring it like down and then up.
Well, she probably thought it was a worm.
No, they
She
won't
probably
jump.
thought it was a worm.
She will, so. The noodle? Yeah. Okay, then hold it.
Go over there next to her, Mike.
Lower it down. Okay, up. And then hold it there. Wiggle it a little.
So Rachel and Mike, are they're your chickens are mainly roosters, because those are the ones that get kind of killed here in the city here because they're too noisy.
So we actually mostly have hens right now, mainly because when we first started rescuing, we were in Anchorage and we got some noise complaints even for the few roosters that we had. So we actually, our main rescues were basically older hens when they're about 3 years old, which is actually very young. People tend to dump them or to kill them because they're not producing as much. And so it's kind of an interesting combination because we get older hens and young roosters. Around roosters when we get them, they're about 5 months old because that's when they start to crow and show who they are, that they're boys. And so it can make for a problematic issue because you have these older hens who have arthritis issues and maybe some other health concerns that they're dealing with, mixed with these young roosters who just want to mount them all the time. And so we actually keep a separate section for the roosters now, so that we don't have any issues with that. It's like a section for a bachelor flock. So yeah.
Should we show a JJ video?
Could do that.
So I
How
don't know.
many-
Go ahead.
How many animals do you have?
Oh goodness.
We have
It's
11
11 pigs, 3 rabbits, 2 turkeys, and
12 chickens.
no,
We have 9 in the main and then 2 and
9.
1.
Yeah, 12 chickens. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you get all these animals as rescue animals?
Yeah, they were all rescues. Some of them were like when we first started. We still have the 2 hens that were our very first rescue. That was before Forget-Me-Not Farm Sanctuary was a thing, and those 2 girls are probably about 9 years old now.
Wow.
But they were posted on Craigslist for free because they were, their egg production had slowed basically. And that's how we ended up with them.
So I must have hit a wrong button someplace. So I'm at the post attendee Zoom. So I'm going to get out of here and get back in. So I'm going to be probably leaving here in a minute.
Okay.
Oh, you're back. Okay. I don't know what
Yes.
happened.
Sorry, I think because we're sharing the screen, I didn't think about that.
Share, yeah.
So I don't know what people know about JJ. He was so we rescued 10 of the pigs that Rachel mentioned.
Those all came together from
A meat farm.
and then a little while later,
About 4 or 5 months later.
there was a piglet who he was basically failing to thrive at, it was a meat farm too. And he was 5 days old and he was half the size of his siblings. And he had a lot of health issues, and basically they were, he would have just died, but someone found out about it and contacted us, and we ended up taking him. And when we first got him, like he could fit in like the palm of your
Oh, here's a
hand.
picture, or sorry, that's the wrong thing.
Wow.
He could fit in the palm of your hand. I could wrap my fingers around, there he is. I could wrap my fingers around his waist, my thumb and my pointer. That was how tiny he was. And his eyes were so badly damaged. He had ulcers on his eyes. He couldn't even see. He was like basically blind for the first month of his life because of his eye ulcers. And the vet actually told us that we might have to do a surgery to remove his eyes because he wasn't sure that they could come back from how badly damaged they were. But
Can everyone see that picture?
yeah, do you guys want to see him?
Not yet.
No.
You're not
No.
sharing your screen now. We just see you.
Oh, you're not screen sharing?
I thought I was. Maybe I stopped.
Let's try again.
Trying again.
Yeah, you are.
Here.
My goodness.
Oh,
Boy, just a bit.
Oh, my, my.
wow.
Very tiny.
And then we have some, let's see, this is as he was growing up.
Oh, that's a later one, but
Did we want
no, you can play that one. It's fine.
Okay, hang on, let me do full screen. Playing it now.
Is that the same pig?
Yeah.
So how did he start eating? How did he change? How cute.
So basically he lived, I did not leave his side for, I don't know, the first 2 months of his life, probably.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we had to feed him every 2 hours.
Yeah, the first month was the worst because he had to be fed every 2 hours. So we had to wake up in the middle of the night and feed him. He had to stay warm. If he didn't have like a heat source, he could get like hypothermia basically.
Wow.
I mean, it was like having a baby. He was a baby.
Yes.
And then also with his eye issues, we had to give him.
We had to take him to the vet quite a bit.
He had to go to the vet, but he also had to have eye drops every
couple hours.
4 hours or something.
Yeah.
And so, basically just nursed him through it, and he recovered and he can see. We're not sure how well, but because he's got some clouding in his eyes, so there's some vision impairment that happened because of the ulcers, but he still can see. So
I'm gonna share maybe another JJ video.
We have a lot of videos of JJ because he lived with us inside the house for the first 6 months of his life.
Oh.
That's it?
Wow. So how big is he now?
He's about 90 pounds.
Oh, wow.
He's still our smallest pig, but yeah, he's grown quite a bit. I don't know if you have the one of him in the crib. like when he was first. Did we get that?
I don't
that
think so,
video?
no.
No, it's not that one.
What?
That one.
No, that's when he runs down the hill.
Oh, got it. Okay. Okay.
How did
Yeah.
he adapt to being outside of your,
He
to-
he actually really loved it because pigs
Okay.
are very social. They need other
Yeah.
animals of their same species. They
Right.
need someone that speaks their language, and so he
Great.
really enjoyed being introduced to the rest of the herd, and
Mhm.
and to the point where because we were taking him up when we were trying to introduce them, like to make sure there was no fighting and no issues, we would take him up every day and put him in like a little separate area so that they could meet each other through the fence. And we would leave him out there like the whole day and then bring him back inside to sleep so that we were sure that he was, staying warm and all of that at night. So, but like it got to the point where we actually couldn't, if he was in the house, we couldn't open our door without distracting him because he would try and run out to run up to the pigs.
That was a good sign then.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
That's great.
What is the status of I know everything is shut down, so I'm sure that's not helpful, but I know that your goal was at some point to have kind of educational element for people, and I'm wondering what's the status of that now?
Yeah, everything's kind of up in the air because of the pandemic. Really, we wanted to start that last summer. That was sort of the plan, and then the pandemic happened, and so all of that fell through. We even had to we even stopped doing like tours because the previous year we had done some tours, and that was a good way of bringing in some donations through our tours. And so we had to stop that. Basically, we're hoping that this summer we'll be able to start up our tours again with, some events, educational events and whatnot. So sort of the hope, but we're just gonna have to see what happens, I guess.
Right.
Yolanda, do you have a question?
Yeah, what for your operation? What is your cost of feeding these animals? Plus, I guess you have to keep the chickens warm. You have to plug in the thing. Do you have a rough idea? I guess on your website, you're gonna. When I contacted you, how much outgoing money does it cost you per month? It's not like having a horse that but horses eat hay also, and they're just so expensive, and whether the expense is the same as having a horse, probably.
I think the expense is a little less than horses.
A chicken is certainly less than per animal. It's less.
It also depends on what medical issues might crop up in any given year, and there's a lot of variables in there. But last year we spent, it was over $10,000 on that.
That was for food and
for food, for medical
repair.
I want to say it was around 13,000 was last year's budget,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that, and thank you for sharing your photos. And I do have to leave, and I just want to thank you guys. A nice meeting everybody, and hopefully I'll see you next month. And I guess we're going to talk about Christmas and what we cooked and stuff, or recipes that we could share, and that'd be great. But anyway, nice meeting everybody, and we look forward to connecting more. And I'll let you know how my project is gonna get going. I want to start what's called a Jumpstart program, working with a couple of doctors here in the community to get some of their patients to switch to a plant-based diet to alleviate some of their health consequences of standard American diet. And the meat industry and all that stuff. So anyway, so we'll keep you posted. And Delisa, nice meeting you. And I'll look at your cookbook at Natural Pantry when I go. I do stay safe. I wear my mask and it's not as, I think I feel okay doing that. I wear my gloves and anyway, so keep eating more veggies. And I like Peggy, thank you, kind of looking at how we could expand our taste buds, the jicama and yuccas are very, they're great. I have a nice recipe for that. They are they're harder to cut than the what do you call it? The squashes, but anyway. Okay, you guys, I guess I should have left my contact information, but maybe Delisa, you could share that with everybody.
Well,
But you guys have a pleasant.
yeah. Are you getting the AVS email? Is that how you knew about this?
Yes.
Okay.
I did get that, so I got it last month.
If you're
as well,
on the list, then that's okay. Well, thanks for joining us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Great holidays.
Mike and Rachel, I did want to say something that, your compassion and your commitment to helping animals in need is just awesome. And anything that we can do to help you, even $20 a month, $30 a month in the long term from multiple people can really make a difference in, the animals' lives and make it easier on both of you. So,
even $5 and $10 a month, it all adds up really.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to say that, to thank you for all that you're doing for the animals in our community, that you're both are unsung heroes.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yes.
Get on Pick, Click, Give, and also combined federal campaign for local donations.
What is that second one you said?
Well, the CFC, it's not as popular as it used to be. It doesn't seem like people want to donate to it anymore, but and it's very difficult to qualify and fill out the paperwork for it. But I think Pick, Click, Give would be. Can you get on that, or do you qualify there?
We do qualify for that. We just have to go through the hoops, basically. So
I mainly give
that's a thing on our long list of things, but it's definitely something that's been on my mind. So
Folks, I've seen some of the figures that people have received from being on Pick, Click, Give, and it's amazing. So I would suggest you find a way to get that paperwork done.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was actually the plan to be ready this year, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
We need to talk to the board about that.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that the combined federal campaign, that's for federal employees, and I'm not sure how you get named as being one of the, charities or, one of the recipients of those. But yeah, as a federal employee, I always give to that every year, but Pick, Click, Give is good too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that one,
that's good.
That's definitely on our list, but we hadn't heard of
the combined federal campaign.
Yeah. So look into that as well. Thank you for that.
But since you're not on that, how do we give a donation now if we want to give a donation to you?
So I believe we posted our website address.
Yeah, if you look on the chat, but it's basically, forgetmenotfs.com. And then there's a lot of different donate options. Like Rachel said, you can choose a specific animal to sponsor, or you can just click donate and do kind of a general donation and set it to recurring or just a one-time, and you choose the amount.
Yeah.
So that's probably the best way is through the website.
You can also do through Facebook. It's through the Network for Good nonprofit. They collect the donations from Facebook and then send it to us, basically. So That's
your
also.
website sounds like it's the most direct way to do it.
Yeah,
The
I think.
website is the quickest way. For the Facebook donations, we don't see them for about a month. And so, yeah, so it just takes longer for the money to get to us.
Yeah, through the website, it's straight into the bank account electronically, whereas the Facebook Guide Star thing, they send us a check, but it goes through a whole process, and so it's like 4 to 6 weeks. But either way, we get the money, so
Yeah.
so we're happy.
Yeah.
But I do think the website's probably just quickest and easiest.
And also there's the monthly option where you can select a monthly donation versus, I don't know that they have that through Facebook donations.
Yeah, I don't think
I don't
so.
think that's an option there. So.
But
Well,
did you see that on the chat? Did you see the?
yeah, I do see it. Yeah, I'm writing it down so I have it. But
Okay.
how do you support yourself? How do you, where does your money come from to live, for your electric and your groceries and?
Well, I do have a job, so I work full time. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. But this is still such a job for you. It's a big job, you too. And you don't have any help. Do you have help?
We have a couple volunteers who.
But during the pandemic, do you have help or not?
Yeah, so we that also was affected. Our volunteer program was affected by the pandemic. We sort of shut down volunteering for a while. And then we have picked it back up, but we do it differently so that we don't have more than one person at a time here. And we stay apart and we make sure that everyone is, practicing this safe social distancing and whatnot.
Sure.
So we do have a couple regular volunteers who have come back since the pandemic.
Oh, good.
Probably we've got four days a week. We have people coming out to help out a little bit. So that's usually just like an hour each day.
Is that adequate? How much would you like to have in terms
I
of?
would like to have people out here every day for an hour at least. That would be ideal to have someone out every day. Because there's a lot, the animals eat a lot, and then that means that they also poop a lot. So there's a lot of cleanup that goes on to make sure that everyone's clean and healthy and living in the best environment that we can possibly give them. So
So do you have a compost pile going to take care of their manure?
we do. We have several compost piles. And we aren't composting all of the animal waste right now, but that's the plan for this summer, is to get a better composting system set up so that we can compost all of the waste. Right now we are throwing out quite a bit that I would like to see be composted. But we just don't have the compost setup that we need right now for that. So that's sort of a plan for this coming summer, is to get those set up, get a system in place.
Also
I think that you could sell the compost as well, but especially in the spring for gardeners.
Yeah. Yeah. The issue with that is that I'm not sure. I know that some places are wary about using pig manure for like gardening and stuff, just because of the potential parasites that could be involved, which aren't, because they're living in a clean environment, and we check their fecals for that. But I do know that there are some people that's like a thing with composting.
Some people are kind of wary of that. Yeah.
I wanted to just say, through combined federal campaign, that you can also volunteer time for organizations. But again, I mean, CFC is not as popular and people are not contributing the way they used to. So if you had to pick just one, I definitely would pick, click, give, like the other person's mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
good thoughts. Yeah, did you guys want to see any more videos, or are we about is
Right.
time up, or what's the?
I think we're about done. We've been here for about an hour and a half, and that's probably a good amount. So,
Yeah.
but I really appreciate you coming and sharing with us, and we want to
Yeah.
have updates periodically and also requests, if you need, if we get to the point where you could handle more volunteers or volunteers for specific things or supplies or money or whatever, just to consider us as part of the resource.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you so
so-
much for having us, and thank you for that support. It's super important. We're running a farm sanctuary in Alaska, which is, not necessarily the friendliest place to do so sometimes. So it's really nice to have that support.
And then you guys can also, like, on Facebook or Instagram, find us if you want to follow
Yes,
us, see the videos and stuff.
The best place to see our stuff is Instagram. That's my favorite place to post things. I feel like it's really easy to like scroll through and see all the different things. So, but yeah, I also post everything on Facebook as well. And those are the two best places to like really get to see all the content. I'm really bad about doing emails, trying to get better, but we've not put out an email for a long time. So.
Well, that's because you're busy taking care of the animals.
That is true. Yes. In fact,
that's the reason.
In fact, we got to gear up right after this and go out and do some chores. So.
Yeah, I'm sure. So on Instagram, it's under Forget Me Not FS. Is that what it's under? What's it under?
Yeah,
I think that's right. Let me double check what our handle is. Yes, it's Forget Me Not FS, and you should see our logo. This is the logo. I'm wearing it.
Oh, okay.
Anywhere you see that logo, that's us.
That's a rooster, right? Yeah.
It's a chicken. Yeah.
Chicken.
That's a chicken. Okay, can't see it.
Great. That is great.
Yeah, that's great. So, do you ever get rest?
We're hoping to sell some shirts at some point, but they're not fully designed yet. This was a sample that we got. So.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Keep your eye out for some merchandise. So.
Well, thank you very much. And thank everybody for coming. And it's really, it's just nice to know that we still are here and we may not be in the same room together, but, it's really nice to be part of this organization. And I appreciate you coming here. So our next one again is the last Saturday of December, which I think is the 26th. And we are going to have a party. And we're going to play some games and do some sharing and just have a good time. So same time, same place, same same Zoom.
What type of games, Delisa? I'm curious. Like, what are you thinking?
Zoom games.
A Zoom game?
Well,
is there such a thing? I don't know which one.
Yeah. Well,
curious.
we're still kind of figuring it all out, but we've got a couple of things in mind that, interactive sorts of things.
Okay, just wondered.
And Elsa, I don't know how you found us, but I'm glad that you joined us all the way from Florida, where it's now 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Does anybody else have anything you'd like to say before we sign off?
Just like to check the name of that food. Was it Nature's Balance?
Yes. Natural Balance, I think.
Yeah, Natural Balance.
Natural Balance.
Yeah. And they have, it's called vegetarian formula, but it is vegan.
Yep. It's on the docket for tomorrow. Thank you very much, everybody, for their input.
Yeah. And vegetables. Okay, well, we could all unmute and I'll just like who
Okay, bye.
say goodbye to each other.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Nice to see you.
Bye.
Thank you, Rachel and Mike.
Good to see you all.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.